Dr. Mike Van Thielen is the medical director at Clary Zen Z Health, an innovative medical company with a new pill providing all the benefits of Adderall without any of the harmful side effects. He is also a treating physician for Boston Neuro Pain and Psych Centers, helping tens of thousands of patients with chronic pain and mental health conditions. Dr. Van Thielen's achievements include he is a best-selling author of Access to Success book, which is focused on optimizing productivity and focus and creating a stress-free life. He is a founder of Health Freedom Movement and sought-after speaker who has shared the stage with celebrities such as Les Brown, Brian Tracy, and Darren Hardy, who is the owner of Success Magazine. He's an entrepreneur with vast business experience and a proven track record of establishing and developing successful business operations. Dr. Mike owned several anti-aging clinics in Central and Northeast Florida and was the CEO of an innovative stem cell clinic treating top athletes, including NFL players and heavyweight boxing champions. He's a mentor and coach, and he helps people regain control of their health. Along with his successful career, he has managed to be a philanthropist by raising money through many charity events to those who need it the most. This is the Guiding Voice podcast series, the Guiding Voice for a Better Future. Friends, I am your host Navin Samala, just a fellow IT professional, but on a mission to shape the careers and lives of millions across the globe. Successful leaders and celebrated coaches across the globe, along with entrepreneurs, share their knowledge and wisdom with the world, and our audience will acquire more knowledge for every minute by tuning into the Guiding Voice than any other podcast in this space, because we drive conversations that matter and conversations that add value to your life and your career. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm extremely pleased to have Mike joining me for today's episode. Mike, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice, and I'm thrilled to have you.
Thank you for having me, Navim. It's we do what we do, but you guys work relentlessly to get the word out there, and that's obviously a big help for us. So this is certainly a win-win situation, and I'm glad to be here on your podcast.
Pleasure to have you here, Mike. And let's get started. Probably you can briefly share your career journey first with our audience.
Yes, you probably may notice an accent too. I'm originally from Belgium. I grew up there, single mom and a brother, and went to university there for physical education and physical therapy. I traveled with the Belgian Olympic swimmers in preparation for the Atlanta Games in 1996. And then in 97, I saved $400, packed my backpack, and came to the United States as a physical therapist initially, then worked in many pain clinics. And I really figured out that conventional medicine really didn't get great results. So I went back to school and went to the College of Integrative Medicine in Orlando. I got my Doctor of Oriental Medicine license in acupuncture, homeopathy, Chinese herbal medicine. And so I practiced that for a while. And after another 1,000 patients, I was disappointed again, because even though these types of therapies like chiropractor, acupuncture, food therapy, homeopathy, they're less invasive and less harmful than conventional medicine, meaning drugs and surgery, but I felt they didn't give us the lasting results either. So then I decided I needed to go back to basics. And so that's when I got my PhD in holistic nutrition. And I really looked at Mother Nature and see what the animals in the wild were doing, because Mother Nature usually does have the right answers. And so since I've done that, I've been very confident I can help people with any ailments, help them regain control of their health and get back to normal, then optimize their health, meaning getting them fit, strong, and vital. And then the third step, even biohacking, which means is, reverse their biological age objectively and become superhuman. So right now, I'm the Chief Medical Officer at Clarigen Z. I do a lot of biohacking. I do a lot of keynote speaking. And my income basically comes from mentoring people, helping them with their health, but also helping them with their business from a motivational and accountable perspective. So that's a little bit of my journey so far, Naveen.
Yeah, that's excellent and quite inspiring, Mike. And I'm also curious to understand about your records, achieving records at the age of 48. Normally, people get into this mid-career crisis at that point in time, but
Yeah, some buy a sports car, right, with all their money when they're in their midlife crisis.
exactly.
No, I always used to be a swimmer from when I was 8 years old till about 24. Then I took a 22-year break, decided to go swimming again. So yes, in 2019, swim a world record in the 45 plus age group. And right now, I just started training again because the World Championships are in Japan in August of 2023. So I have 10 months to get ready, basically.
Wish you good luck, Mike. I'm sure you're going to break further records and all. Your passion speaks it all. Moving ahead, let's talk about the health freedom movement. Why did you get into that journey?
Yeah, I'm a big advocate just because witnessing on how our system, especially here in America, works. It's all about the big pharma controlling everything, people getting on more and more drugs. It's a vicious cycle of more and more side effects, more and more ailments. Nobody's getting better, everybody's getting worse. They like to cut on people pretty quickly, they like to do surgeries. And so their toolbox is very limited. It's medication, injections, or surgeries. And so, what I like to teach people is, look, your body can heal itself. Nothing heals. Drugs can heal, surgeries can heal, food can heal, supplements can heal. Nothing really can heal. Therapy can heal either. Only our body can heal itself, but we need to put it in the right conditions, in the correct conditions, so it can do that. So we need to teach people on what those conditions are. And so, I feel that when people are guided correctly and educated you correctly, and you can listen to the warning signs of your body, you can heal yourself by putting yourself in those right conditions. And you don't have to depend on, the big pharma and the FDA and the propaganda of the marketing companies, etc. You got your own body, you got your own mind. And so if you understand that, you can take care of yourself. And that's kind of health freedom. You can either choose to be healthy and happy, or you can choose to be sad, and sorry. I just basically promote health freedom in a way as you got to take control or regain control of your own health. And it's people like me and many other health coaches and functional medicine doctors, etc., that can put you in the right direction and guide you in the right direction to do that.
The kind of age which we are living in, everything is commercialized, especially medical field is something
Yes.
which is full of malpractices, and people are lacking ethics in a way. But I think you are on the right journey in terms of educating people to become healthy and all. And you mentioned briefly about this biohacking, which is about reverse aging and all, right? So
Yes.
how do we explain that to a layman, and what is this biohacking all about?
Well, yeah, again, if you need a definition, it's something like biohacking basically is a broad and amorphous term that covers a wide variety of activities with the attempt to upgrade your brain, upgrade your body, and human nature. So what we're really trying to do is reverse our biological age objectively. In other words, 100's got to be the new 30. That's our goal, right? And with today's science, it's really actually possible, and we can objectively measure it. Now, in order to become a biohacker and actually get younger, as you chronologically age, we actually want to get younger, right? That's basically biohacking. But first, we need to get back to normal health. Then we gotta get fit and strong. And only when we're at that stage, biohacking will be beneficial. And so that's what I teach people to do. And it's a very exciting new arena in the medical field.
Wow. Sounds interesting. And now switching gears and talking the aspect of this dopamine, right? What are some of the ways we
Yes.
can access the dopamine in our brain in order to improve the concentration, drive, and motivation? And the reason I'm emphasizing on concentration is we are glued to the technology devices, and we are distracted by devices around us. And how do we regain our concentration by hacking this dopamine?
Well, that's an excellent question, and it's a huge, you could call it an epidemic, unlike COVID, which wasn't one, right? But anyways, so yes, first of all, we have 5 intelligence hormones, right? We have dopamine, we have serotonin, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and acetylcholine. And when those hormones work in balance, we're in the zone, right? The problem is with all our man-made foods and drinks that are loaded with sugar, and also with the social media, we have what we call a dopamine overload, because dopamine is really the reward hormone. It's like, when our brain squirts a little bit of dopamine, it's like giving us a pat on the back. It feels good. That's why we eat and drink sugar. That's why we like energy drinks. And that's why we like social media, because if we get a like, or if we get a heart on our Instagram, or somebody likes our comments, it feels good because our brain squirts a little dopamine. So we're going to search for more all the time, right? And so we're in a dopamine overload. But what that does is the following. If one of the 5 intelligence hormones is overloaded, that means we're not in balance. And so the result of a dopamine overload is that we have brain fog. We are fatigued. We can't focus. We have a very low attention span. We can't get the project done in time. We can't get our homework done. And we're always distracted. And there's really no way out of it. It's a vicious circle. So what I'm teaching in my new book, which will be published by the end of the year, is that there's many tips and strategies that we need to do to get organized and to eliminate distractions so we can get something done. And then there's also helpful supplements like Focus Plus that are safe alternatives to Adderall that will help us getting into that zone. So to give you a few examples about getting organized, you really need to know, what you want in life, what your dreams are, make a plan, make a strategy, so you can remind yourself every day and be focused on what you want to accomplish, right? Eliminating distractions. If you want to get your homework done, you got to get rid of that phone. Right? You gotta maybe go to a safe working space where you're not distracted by other people. And there's a whole list of things that we can do to improve that effectiveness and improve focus. One of the techniques of many techniques is called the Pomodoro technique, which basically says you're going to work 20 minutes, you put your timer on and you focus and you get something done, you take a 5-minute break. And during that 5 minutes, you can go for a walk, you can check your email, respond. Again, when the 5 minutes is up, you leave your phone behind, go focus another 20 minutes. So there has to be a plan, a strategy, and there's many of those that I will explain in my book. But when it comes to smart drugs and nootropics, because unfortunately many people are on Adderall and those type of drugs, even our young people and our students. And even though it may work, there's obviously adverse reactions. Adderall increases blood pressure, increases your risk for heart disease. In the long term, it may change personalities and those types of things, and nobody really wants that. So right now there's on the market a supplement called Focus Plus. And actually, the main ingredient called biocitroid was stumbled upon by a cancer doctor at Boston Neuro. And that active ingredient is basically a terpene that is extracted from a specific type of blood orange in the rainforest in Southeast Asia, close to where you are, right? And so that biocitroid at 30 milligrams or higher has been shown to enter or cross the blood-brain barrier. So when you take this, within 30 minutes, you have an effect. You're in the zone and you can focus. Most supplements takes weeks and weeks and weeks to build up in your system before you actually can feel a difference. So this works fast. And that's the main ingredient, biocitroid. What the company did, Clarigen Z, it added 3 other neuroagents. Number 1, it added L-tryptophan, which basically is a amino acid that helps with memory, concentration, clarity, and things like that. It's also a precursor to dopamine. It also added phenylalanine, which is another neuroagent that helps with creativity and memory and those types of things, motivation. And then the third one that they added, to me is very important, is phosphatidyl, which is a healthy fat that's not only found in our body, but also in our brain. But phosphatidyl stimulates or promotes NGF, which is nerve growth factor. And what that does, it regenerates and it makes new nerves and neural connections and improves transmission in the brain. So it's not just about balancing, it's actually making more connections in the brain, because as you know, we only use a very small percentage of our brain, but this actually will expand our network. So those 4 ingredients are safe, they're all natural. There's no jittery effect like when you take an energy drink or a coffee. So a lot of people get jittery. So there's none of those effects. And when you take it, 30 minutes later, it starts working and it gets you in that zone for about 6 hours. Now, the reason why it works is because, again, most of us are in a dopamine overload. So it balances those 5 hormones. And when they're balanced, you get into that zone. And that's why many sports people are taking it, NFL players, golfers, businessmen, CEOs, students, because without any side effects, you can get into the zone and focus. And that's why I've been taking it. A lot of the people that I gave it to really like it. And so that's why I'm willing to, promote it.
Mm, excellent. I think you have done a lot of research before launching this particular tablet, and it
Yes.
sounds so exciting. And in case if we are able to be in the zone immediately, right, I think that comes as a boon rather than
Yes.
relying on something which is slow, right? Now, talking about the sports athlete part, right? So, what percentage of winning as a sports athlete is mental, and how much of it is physical? And is
Yeah.
there any different formula
That
for each
that
sport?
Yeah, that's a question that's asked often to coaches, and most coaches say, "Oh, it's 50 to 90% mental." Most golfers say 90% mental, but science actually says it's 100% mental. Because even though there's a physical aspect to any sport, it's still controlled by the mind. And so many times when you look at a top athlete and he doesn't have a good game, they say, "Oh, he was off. He didn't have a good day. He was off." And then the next game, he's playing fantastic. And so what's the difference? Because he was as strong, he was as fast, his physical abilities or capabilities, capacities did not decline in a week, right? So what was the difference? The difference was here. He was distracted. Maybe he had a fight with his wife. Maybe something went wrong with the kids in school. Maybe he was unable to pay a bill. I don't know, but he was distracted, wasn't in the zone, right? And so that's the difference. Because when those 5 intelligence hormones are balanced and you're in the zone, you got the end game in mind. For example, if a golfer misses a putt, it usually carries over a few more holes before they forget about it. Or when a player doesn't catch a ball, it usually affects them another few plays. But when you're in the zone, like Michael Jordan always was, it does not affect them because they only got one thing in mind: is the end game. It's the win at the end. So they're not bothered by the little miss. They immediately get back into the zone and score the next play. While most people take a little bit of time to do that. Also, when you're in the zone and you're not distracted, you can anticipate faster than anybody else. So you get to the ball much faster, whether you play tennis or you're a football or basketball player or soccer player like we have in Europe and India. We get to that best ball faster. And so, especially, thinking that all those top athletes, they're all in shape, they all got great skills. So the difference is always made right here in the mind.
Mm. So mind plays a critical and very important role. That's kind of eye-opening. And
Yes.
Mike, this has been wonderful conversation. But let's add some spice to the episode. I'm going to kick off a quick rapid fire round with your consent.
Yes, sure. Not too many personal questions, though, Naveen.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, so be assured. And
I
let me
always
try.
have an answer. It doesn't matter. Do what you got to do.
Okay. All right. That's the spirit. Let me fire the first bullet. What is the worst thing about you, Mike?
The worst, I was going to talk the best thing about me. The worst thing, I never give up. I'm always persistent. And in most aspects of life, it's important to be persistent, to get knocked down and get back up. But in other aspects of life, you got to walk away and take your loss, because otherwise you're going to waste a lot more time if the other people are not, working with you, whether that's on a team or a business or whether that's a personal relationship. Sometimes you got to realize that you can't do it by yourself and you have to move on. And that's been, a hard lesson for me because, my motto always has been, I never lose, I win or I learn. But
Yeah.
what I learned is sometimes you got to lose, otherwise you don't learn.
Win or learn. Yeah. Awesome. Moving to
Yes, you
the,
never lose, you win or
yeah,
you learn.
yeah, absolutely makes sense. And moving to the next one. What is your favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory? Hmm. Well, there's a few, but something that really shaped me is that we did a lot of sports competitions in school, like elementary school. And so I was the fastest runner. I was on the soccer team, the basketball team. But one of my best friends actually was part of the local swim team. And so when it came to swimming, I couldn't win. And I was apparently a very sore loser. But what I did is I joined the swim team myself so I could win. And so that's how I became a swimmer. So when people still ask me, what brought you to swimming? I always say, like, I'm a good swimmer. I even have a world record, but it's actually my worst sport because it's the only one I couldn't win when I was young.
So that got planted in your brain and you wanted to knock it off.
That's right. So even if you're bad at it, Ryan, if you apply yourself, you can become good at something. It's how you apply yourself, how you surround yourself with the right people and get something accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you describe yourself in just one word?
Charismatic.
Charismatic. Yeah. Awesome. And what is one thing that you would correct in the past?
Correct
Something you
in
want to
the
change?
past.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you need to know what your dreams are, right? And a lot of people still didn't figure that out, but you need to take the time to sit down and figure out really what you want to be, who you want to be, and what you want to accomplish. And once you figure it out, it sets the stage. And so once you figure it out, many times you have to say no. Meaning if somebody says, hey, let's do this business or let's do this project, you have to ask yourself, if that project does not fit in your dreams, don't waste your time and say no. And so for me, it's always been very hard to say no to friends or family or business partners. But at a certain point in time, if you want to work at your highest potential and realize your dream, you got to start saying no. You can't keep on doing projects that do not fit your dream, because many times we take on projects that maybe make a lot of money, but it's really not our passion. You know what? You need to learn that that's not the most important and keep focusing on your dreams and say no to things that don't fit, and don't do projects, even if they pay well, that don't fit those dreams, because they're going to slow you down. Yeah. And so that's something that I certainly learned from my past. Fire people and say no.
Quite interesting. And let me fire the last one out of rapid fire. What is one electronic gadget that you'd like to see or invent yourself?
Well, I'm not in the IT space, so maybe it even exists already. But, we as humans, and that's also why we have a dopamine overload, we have every day, each person is bombarded with 40,000 messages somehow coming from everywhere, right? And so when you get all your emails and your different email boxes and all your social media, we spend too much time to looking at it and we waste a lot of time. And somehow we need to manage that and getting organized. So I would like to see an electronic gadget that when all those messages come in, it automatically puts it in a delete box, in a important box, or in, hey, Dr. Mike needs to read it. But once I read that message and I make a decision, I want the AI platform to learn more about me, so the next time they can sort it out for me. So that would be an awesome gadget to have on my wrist or somewhere where everything is automatically organized, because we spend a lot of time on figuring out what's important and not important during the day.
And that will save tons of time. It will
yes, right.
boost our productivity.
Otherwise, you got to get a personal assistant. That's expensive. What if we had a gadget that could read our brain and knows what to do with certain messages?
Absolutely. And I'm sure things of that sort might come in near future. And
I'm sure, yes.
Indeed. So it was great rapid fire. And with that, let me flip back to the mainstream and ask you one final question for today's conversation. So, Mike, what will be your one piece of advice to those aspiring to make big in their careers or lives?
Yeah, I almost touch upon it again. Is really, really be sure that you know what you want in life and who you want to be, because we are influenced by our parents that want to often live vicariously to us. They want us to go to med school because they think doctor is a good profession and you make money, or they want us to go law school. And so people in life push us certain directions. You need to block that out and decide, who are you? Are you an artist? Well, then don't become a doctor, right? So who are you? Who do you want to be? And don't worry what other people think, because if you're passionate about something, you will succeed and the money will follow. So don't focus on money. Follow your passion and the money will follow. And then once you know what you want, you got to set a plan and a strategy, because without a plan, nothing comes to fruition, right? And once you have the plan and strategy, you got to ask yourself, and this is the third part, ask yourself, who do I need to surround myself with? Who do I need on my team? Because I have weaknesses and I need mentors and I need people to, perform at my highest potential. So you need to identify those experts and those people. And once you have all that, you got to be relentless. You just got to focus on your dream. You got to attack those obstacles and you just got to keep going, and you got to attack the obstacles. You can't see them as an obstacle. You got to see them as an opportunity. You got to see them as one hurdle closer to the finish, right? If you do 110 hurdles, you got to take 10 hurdles. So just go take them so you get to the finish faster. And so that's the advice that I have is decide what you want. Don't get distracted. Don't care about what other people think. Go for your passion. Get a plan. Get surrounded with experts. Be relentless, and you will be successful.
Wow. Simply amazing. Like such a powerful message.
Yeah.
You said what you want to be and be relentless in terms of what you want to achieve.
And Wim, for those, because I just got informed that the Focus Plus, the product we talked about by Clarigen Z, they currently have a free sample available on their website. So for those people who just want to try it at no cost, go to trysmartpill.com, T-R-Y, smart, S-M-A-R-T, pill, P-I-L.com. And the Wim, for people that want to get a 20-minute free Zoom call with myself, or want to look at my books or my podcasts or my motivational speaking on my website, just visit biohackingunlimited.com or MVT, Mike Van Thielen, mvtonline.com. Explore my website, contact me, schedule a 20-minute Zoom call. I'm here to help.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the benefit of audience, I'm going to post all the links in the show notes.
Excellent.
Right from Try Smart Pill, Biohacking Unlimited, and mvtonline.com. So folks,
Yes.
you can just refer to the show notes. You'll find all the links and leverage this wonderful opportunity to try the pill for free and also interact with Mike and get contagious through his energy.
That's right.
All right. So, Mike, thank you so much for joining me today. And it was such an energetic conversation, and I thoroughly enjoyed every bit of it. Thank you for your insights, and really honored to have you on my show.
You are welcome. Anytime, I'll be on again. And good night in India.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. And folks, it was pleasure hosting Mike and talking a lot about the work that he's doing in the medical space, and also a bit of biohacking stuff, etc. And before we move into the trivia section, here is a request to you. In case if you haven't subscribed to us, please subscribe from the app where you have tuned in from. Also, if you have loved this conversation and felt energized and found it useful, request you to share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who can benefit from the guiding voice. Thank you so much in advance. Now let's cruise into the trivia segment of today's episode. So today we had a great conversation with Mike about how do we develop this ability to biohack, which is a part of reverse aging and all. And I'm going to share a few more insights about biohacking based on my research after coming across Mike's profile. Biohacking sounds complicated, and surely creating an ear out of an apple is quite difficult, but anyone can be a biohacker. If you have never tried cutting sugar or gluten out of your diet, you are a biohacker. Getting a pacemaker, contacts, or hearing aids, all that mean you are a biohacker, which means you're relying on something which is not natural in order to help your body. And while some question whether biotechnology should be available to the masses, it's currently possible to start your own lab and biohack the genetic code. There are projects like the ODIN, which connects the aspiring scientists with affordable tools and everything they need to start their own lab in a garage, and it's perfectly legal. It's incredibly difficult to create something dangerous by splicing together different genetic codes, so concern is low. And instead, this community of DIY, do-it-yourself geneticists and biologists are experimenting to drive progress forward, and hopefully one day we'll achieve enough small breakthroughs to change the biohacking industry as a whole, which makes me be very curious about this biohacking industry as such. Likewise, if you have come across any hacks related to biohacking, please comment on the social media, or if you're watching it on YouTube, leave it in the form of comments on the YouTube video. That's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And please feel free to share any topic recommendations or guest speaker suggestions through social media or email us at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com. Friends, once again, I'm your host Naveen Samala, just a fellow IT professional, but a passionate learner on a mission to shape the careers and lives of millions across the globe. Until next time, bye-bye. See you all in the next episode with another powerful speaker.